Do you want to improve the airflow into your Toyota Tacoma's engine by more than 40%? Well, it's easy to do with a cold air intake kit from S&B Filters. We're going to be installing this S&B Cold Air Intake kit into this 2023 Toyota Tacoma. Now, this kit's specifically designed for that Toyota 3.5 liter V6 that's found in the Tacoma, and S&B claims up to a 43% improvement in airflow. And that should give us a little bit better throttle response and a little bit more horsepower. And, well, it's an S&B cold air kit, so we know it's going to look good under the hood. Now, this kit comes with everything you need to do the install except for the tools. So let's do a quick rundown on that tool list to make sure we have them on hand and we're not running to the toolbox halfway through that install. All right, here's our tool count. You're going to need a ratchet, a couple extensions, different lengths, a 10mm socket, a 12mm socket, Phillips screwdriver, a flat screwdriver or a 5/16 nut driver, a panel popper, and a pair of pliers. Not necessary, but nice to have. A zip tie, a pair of flush cuts, some blue Loctite, and hey, always safety goggles. So moving under the hood, of course, that first thing we're going to do is disconnect our negative terminal. Then that second step is get this cover off the engine, and you just lift it up and pop her off. And here's our MAF sensor right here. And we've got our harness, so let's go ahead and pop our harness off. And we can use our little panel popper right here at the back and pop that little Christmas tree out. Here on our connector, we can push in on that little tab. And if it's a tight one, use a screwdriver or your panel popper and push it in, and then she pops right out. Now we're going to grab our pliers and squeeze on these little guys right here. All right, next up is our clamp of the throttle body, and that's a 10mm bolt head. And then the same for the one right here at the filter box. Now we go to our airbox lid. We got these two little clamps right here. And we can just flip them down, pull the clamp up, lift our airbox lid, and then we can just wiggle it, and this whole assembly will pop right off. Then our filter comes off. Then holding the airbox in, we've got 3 bolts. There's 2 on the inside, and then there's 1 on the back side here. All 3 of them are 12mm. Now we'll grab our airbox and pop that out. Now we want to pull our 3 grommets out, and to do that we'll grab our flat screwdriver and we'll push the plastic barrel in the center out, and then the grommet will bend down and out she comes. Now, if we take our tube off the lid, you then have good access to the MAF sensor. We'll use a Phillips screwdriver and pull those 2 screws out. And then carefully pull our MAF sensor out. S&B supplies 2 new screws, an adapter gasket, and an adapter plate. We're going to take that plate. That'll slide right down on our sensor, then our gasket. Then we can go right into our S&B tube. Now we want to take our S&B airbox and we're going to install those grommets that we had pulled out. All right, next up is our tube seal. That's this large round one. Then on the opposite side, we have our fender seal. Then on the end, you have two different parts you can go with. If you spend a lot of time off-road, in the wet or the muddy, the dusty, you can run this S&B plug. And then that's just gonna allow the air to come in through the side here at the fender. If you're looking for maximum airflow, you can use the airbox scoop, and that also plugs right down in. And the box is ready to go in. Now comes our air box, and we've got our air box scoop is going to go towards the front of the Tacoma, and it's going to slide down in. Now we can put those 3 factory bolts back in. If you note, we did put a little dab of blue Loctite on there. All right, we're going to take our intake tube, and the large end is going to go into the air box. And then just keep pushing, slide it in out of the way. And we're going to take our tube coupler, and that can go right up onto the factory throttle body. And then the 2 supplied hose clamps. Then our 5/16 nut driver. Now we can take our intake tube and push it over, line it up, and just slide it right in. Then our CCV tube, and that's going to slip onto the air tube. Now we can tighten this hose clamp. And our CCV hose clamp. And that pops into place, and we're right back to that 5/16 nut driver. We're going to tighten that clamp up. Now we can take our MAF sensor harness, and we'll just route it down underneath and plug that in, and we can anchor that with a zip tie down to the main harness. And now we can take our box seal, and we'll just carefully push it down in the channel. Where it's kind of tight to get in, I'm actually pulling it to make it thinner, and then pushing it down in, and then kind of dragging it back. Take our cover. Now, one caveat if you want to run the S&B Airbox scoop is if you want to check your power steering reservoir, it's now underneath this scoop. So you can just grab it, peel it out of the way, and then you can check your power steering fluid. So after you check your fluid, then you can just snap that scoop back in. Or if you're getting ready for an off-road trip, you're going to be in dusty or wet environments, you can grab the S&B cover, and that's going to snap in. So there, it's all blocked off. Now it's protected from dust, water, mud, etc. Now don't worry about getting enough air into the airbox, because we still have that fender seal that seals right up against that factory air inlet, just like the factory airbox. So there you have it, that S&B Cold Air Intake Kit installed on our 2023 Toyota Tacoma. And if you're looking to improve the airflow into the engine on your Tacoma or other 4x4, well, hit that S&B Filters link down in the description box below. And if you'd like to see more content on building this Tacoma, well, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and even that little bell icon so you'll be notified every time we drop a new video. And then I'm going to say thanks for watching today. We'll see you again soon.